I think politicians are making one enormous mistake with Black women voters. And I hope this gets out to these politicians. This is really me being as generous as I can be, because y'all know until y'all accept our leadership, y'all are no longer getting free labor for us. This is also to help us 92% have a conversation. One thing that became crystal clear to me at the end of this week, I watched James Talarico's town hall with Black voters in Texas and watch the fallout of that. And then I watched Senator Jon Ossoff communicate with Black voters. I have a favorite. And whether or not you agree with every policy decision or not, both men demonstrated something I think that many politicians have not figured out. I feel like Jon Ossoff did this very well. He spoke with Black voters. Talarico seemed like he was trying to talk at us a little bit more. Even though I've given Talarico a C, I'm giving Ossoff a solid B+ on his performance. What were the things they did right? Understand and assume that we are intelligent, that we can follow complicated ideas, that we deserve thoughtful answers. And I found myself asking, why is that so rare with politicians? Why has that been so rare in my lifetime of being a student of politics? I think that the biggest mistake that politicians continue to make with Black women is not the policy. We have a lot of policy demands as Black women in 2026, but I think their mistake is an imagination. I think they are being advised, and campaigns are still being run because they imagine Black women and Black people in general as these one-dimensional voters. They imagine if they just mention civil rights or voting or incarceration, that's one of their favorites, or they throw a gospel choir behind a commercial, we'll feel seen. I just need for all of these politicians to understand, as we get ready to cruise into the midterms, Black women have been evolved. And we're tired of people talking to us like it's still the late 70s and early 80s. Black women, the 92%, our expectations have evolved. Our ambitions have damn sure evolved. And it's time that our politics evolve too. That's why we have our movement, the 92% movement. What do we actually want from our elected officials? Here's the problem. For way too long, certainly since I was a girl, there's been political messaging aimed at Black communities, and it's been deficit based. It's always been around the way Black people in our community is broken, what's dangerous, what's wrong, what happened to us, what we've survived. That's what it's always about. It's rarely about what's possible because of Black people, American Black people, especially in this time when everybody wants to claim building the country. Every single marginalized other POC immigrant group wants all this credit for building the country, when the truth of the matter is we all know how and what the country was built on: the labor, the blood, and the sweat of Black people, and I would say more than anyone else, Black women. Why? Because we were dragged over here in 1619, forced into chattel slavery, and forced to birth an entire workforce that was the foundation for the basis of this country. I hate to go dark and gothic, but that's the truth of the matter. It's not our fault. We didn't do it. These politicians talk to us as though we're permanently standing in crisis. But that's not who I know. When I think of the Black women surrounding me, the community surrounding me, the Black women that I know, entrepreneurs, scientists, teachers, federal employees. It's almost as though they're like, we're trying to break the federal government. Who should we get the fuck out of here? Black women. The Black women I know, artists, engineers, creators, researchers. It's grandmothers raising future doctors, women building businesses. How many Black women do we know that are earning degrees at night? Women writing books, launching podcasts. Shout out to Black girl podcasters, starting nonprofits, inventing entirely new consulting careers, because that's where the market is going. And we refuse to be kicked out of it. We are one of the most educated and entrepreneurial populations. So why are we still getting campaign messaging that sounds like it was written out of the late 80s? That disconnect, the way people be talking to us, is the problem. Here's what Black women of the 92%, this is what we want instead. Respect our intellect. Talk to us nice. Talk to Black women like we're capable of understanding policy. We actually read. Of course we understand policy. Some of the best policy breakdowns I get and news breakdowns I get are from Black women on this here application. Don't reduce complicated issues to slogans. See, we're not them. We're not MAGA. We're not the red hats. Don't talk to us like we slow. Forgive me, our founding documents are delicate. And sometimes I'm a little rough with them. That's why they're a little raggedy. Coach Dad was just reading that article in the Atlantic about us being a post-literate society, not Black women. That is something that Kamala loved to do. Kamala loved to be like, here's a program for us. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's a policy. Here's a plan. Here's a layout. Here's a timeline. That's how you talk to us. Don't turn things into slogans and sound bites. We don't like that. That's one of the reasons we don't like watching Abby Phillips' show. It's nothing but slogans and sound bites. So politicians, Talarico, you want to excite Black women voters? Don't reduce complicated issues to slogans. Explain your thinking. Walk us through your plan. Challenge us intellectually. Black women love learning. Educational attainment among Black women has risen dramatically over the last 2 decades. The only thing that remains a barrier to Black women in education is affordability. That's what keeps us from finishing our degrees and continuing our education. So don't just tell us education matters. We know, don't talk to us like that. We understand education matters. Are you kidding me? One of the only reasons that grown-ups would leave Black children alone in the 80s and the 90s when we're reading a book, because our people taught us that our education could what? Take us anywhere. So don't just tell us education matters, politician. Talk to Black women, talk to the 92%, tell us how you're going to make finishing college, graduate school, certifications, apprenticeships, lifelong learning more accessible. Don't talk to us like we lack ambition, like the only thing we want to do is work in a goddamn coal mine at a battery factory like these stupid red hats. Don't try to lump us into that. We don't lack ambition. All we lack is affordable pathways. Secondly, talk to Black women about building wealth. Black women continue to start businesses at remarkable, some would say alarming rates. Okay? Now tell us how to help scale them. Talk to us about how you're going to help Black women and our businesses access capital. That's what we want to talk about. All we need is the access to capital. We'll get the equity. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse all the decks. Talk to us about federal contracting, procurement. Talk to Black women about business grants. Talk to us about our entrepreneurial spirit. That's what we want to talk about. Innovation, research, investment. Stop assuming that all Black women want is a job. Many of us want ownership. We want to build a career. We're trying to establish a legacy. Also, if you want to talk to Black women in this political climate, you want to bring us on board, you want to get us reactivated in progressive and liberal democratic politics, talk to us about rebuilding this fuck-ass government. Thousands of talented public servants, Black women, have been pushed out of government service. A politician, when they start talking, ask him, what's your plan? How quickly are you going to lead the rebuilding of a competent federal workforce? How are you going to right this wrong that has been perpetrated on Black women first? It's as though the stunt queen in chief came into office and said, the first person I'm going to put under my boot, under my heel is Black women. What I want to hear from a politician, Talarico and Ossoff, because you can grow. I want you to do better. I want you to reach for more. Reach for the stars. Okay, Ossoff, you could be Kamala's VP pick. Play your cards right. So I want to hear what their plan is. Hold their feet to the fire. How quickly are they going to be working to rebuild a competent federal workforce? How are they going to recruit the smartest people back into service immediately? Government shouldn't just be surviving. Scott Galloway was just talking about this. People vilify the government, and I believe when they vilify the government, they're vilifying the Black women that made it work. It is one of the most efficient and effective service providers in the country. Government's not just supposed to merely survive. It should be one of America's greatest employers again. Every time I drive over the Golden Gate Bridge, and when y'all visit Northern California, you've got to drive or walk or bike over the Golden Gate Bridge. Every time I look at that monument, if you live here or you travel here, the reason you get that like frisson, that little bit of excitement about the Golden Gate Bridge, it feels like an event because that is a landmark that was built by federal workers, the country, putting people back to work again. That is the power of government. America should become one of our greatest employers again. And somebody just mentioned this. That's why I love being a Black woman in every lifetime. Talk to us about healthcare, not just insurance, healthcare. Black women continue to experience serious disparities in maternal health, chronic disease, pain treatment, autoimmune disease, access to quality care. Y'all see how they do us. It's not funny. These aren't niche issues. These are national issues. These are important things to us. And one of the things I really want these politicians to talk to us about is accountability. People want to know, and I need to know what's going to happen. I need to talk about accountability. Y'all know how it is when we get called up to the school because somebody has messed with our child. Blah, 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 blah. He said, she said, who did what to who. How are y'all going to make this little bastard pay? Black women want to know what happens after all of this wrongdoing. How will corruption be investigated? How is public trust going to be restored? And I'm telling you right now, Black women are going to insist that it happen quick, fast, in a hurry. I'm encouraging my community. I want Nuremberg style trials immediately. People need to go to jail, under the jail. Y'all saw Tulsi Gabbard's brother, didn't you? Arrested in Hawaii for trying to entice children as young as 9 years old with candy and gum up to his room. I'm ready for people to go to jail. Merrick Garland was one of the worst mistakes Joe Biden ever made. How is this corruption going to be investigated? How are they going to restore public trust? How are they going to make democratic institutions stronger than they ever were before? They need to start talking about that. Well, we'll see and we'll investigate. Don't nobody want to hear that. It's too late for all of that. Shit takes too long. They gave that man 4 years. They found all of these confidential documents in his crapper at Mar-a-Lago. Well, we got to investigate. We got to do a raid. We got to see. We're not going to arrest him because mores and the way we do things. And we're tired of that. That's a conversation that mature democracies we have to be able to have. Because we see what happens when these people, these Republicans, come into office. They don't want to govern. All they want to do is destroy. These politicians, Talarico, listen up. Talk to us about protecting our vote. Don't just tell us to vote. Tell us how you're going to protect election workers. Tell us how you're going to keep us safe. That's what we want to hear. Tell us how you're going to protect election workers, protect voting rights, strengthen election security immediately. We don't want to hear any more placating. Ain't nobody got time for that. Shout out to Jennifer Lewis. So that's what we want to hear. Black women want to hear. How are you going to protect our voting rights? The reason we insist on this is because the only way Republicans can win in this country is by cheating. The stunt queen in chief pointed it out himself at that bogus ass, flop ass speech last Thursday. They need foreign interference. You think the stunt queen in chief doesn't know that one of the reasons he lost is because of mail-in voting? That's why he's trying to get rid of mail-in voting, even though his decrepit ass has voted for himself by mail in past elections. That's what we want to hear. We know the only way they can win is if they keep us from voting, if they cheat, and if they keep us from voting. That's why they gutted the Voting Rights Act. We want to know how you're going to strengthen election security. How are you going to defend democratic institutions? How are you going to give people the confidence that every lawful vote counts? It's more than just asking us to participate. Y'all really don't want to do shit for us except get us to show the fuck up for you. Do more than just asking us to show up for y'all's asses. That's why they got mad at us about Jasmine Crockett. They were like, listen, negresses, we just really need y'all just to show the fuck up. We don't need you making demands on us and asking for shit. Just show up like y'all always do and do it fast. And also be out there calling and knocking on doors. Hell no, not going to happen like that anymore. If a politician wants Black women and wants us, they've got to figure out how to make participation safe for us. And finally, this is the last thing I have to say to politicians. And this was after really enjoying myself watching the differences between Talarico try to engage with voters and watching Senator Jon Ossoff. And yes, I have a favorite. I feel like Jon Ossoff knows how to talk to Black people. I feel like he knows how to do it. There's something about him. Somebody was making a comment about my tragic light-skinnedness early. First of all, colonialism. I ain't had nothing to do with that. For Black grandparents, I can count my family back to this country, generations, Mississippi and North Carolina, all the way back to my enslaved ancestors that they tried to make us ashamed of. I'm an intelligent Black woman. My whole community ain't nothing but intelligent Black women. That's who the 92% is. That's us. And that man resonates with me. I got to tell you, seriously, the last thing I want to tell these politicians, and this was after comparing and contrasting Ossoff and Talarico's engaging Black voters this weekend. I'm not interested in yesterday. Republicans in this country, the GOP, their toxic soup of voters including marginalized communities over here. Stop asking us how to go back to yesterday. We're going to make things just the way they were. We don't give a fuck about that. We're tired of that. We're tired of the past. Stop asking us how to rebuild yesterday. Yesterday was not good enough. We are not interested in going backward. The GOP, Republicans have got backwards and regression. They've got that covered. I'm tired of going backwards. Yesterday, for Black women of the 92% is not good enough. We don't accept that for ourselves anymore. That's what the Republicans want to do. That is what they have done since they became ubiquitous in their power holding in this country. They got the executive, they have corrupted the judicial, and the legislative is just full of the most beta cuck punk bitches I have ever seen. You know, people say, well, I'm just a man. I put my pants on one leg at a time. Not these motherfuckers in the Senate and House of Representatives. Oh, they the most acquiescent, weak ass bitches I have ever seen in my life. They're in charge of going backwards. What we need from our politicians and the ones that want us to vote for them is a path towards the future. Black women, we are dreaming up new futures. We are building a new city in the crumbling ash heap that is this nation. Vice President Harris, tell them, Taj, actually had plans for the future moving forward. You are so correct for everybody. And when Black men were tripping about her, I'm not going to say no more on that. Black men, how they duped y'all and had her calling that woman a cop. What did she do? Came up with a whole plan. Black men's like path towards economic security in the future. I'm not going to go backwards. I feel like I could, but I'm not. I'm not going to. I just need these politicians to understand. Talarico, you want to be senator, understand this. Yesterday was not good enough for Black women. We are not interested in going back. That's them people. That's the red hats. That's them ignorant motherfuckers that are the base of the GOP and the Republican Party. Black women are interested in going someplace we have never seen before, someplace we've never been. You want to talk to us, talk to Black women about artificial intelligence. Talk to us about scientific research. Talk to us about space exploration, climate change, biotechnology, education, infrastructure, the creative economy, the future. Black women have spent generations helping America survive. Now we want to hear your vision for helping America evolve. That is the conversation that Black women are waiting for. That's why our community, the 92% movement, created itself. I didn't create this movement. I'm just one of its leading and founding voices. Okay? But that's why the 92%, we birthed ourselves from the ashes. And we rose up from the ashes of the November 2024 presidential election. So that's why we're not half-stepping. And that's why all this old shit is not good enough for us now. Black women, we tell each other, can't pour from an empty cup, know your worth. Oh, we know our worth now. Oh, we know our worth. One of our main pillars of our movement is about understanding our worth, how much our click, our like, our attention is valuable. It's like gold. We understand our worth. That's exactly why this community created itself. Every morning on the Sunshine Report, we have these conversations. We do it from a place of love, not out of a place of fear. That shit is over. We're past that part in the movie where the heroine is so afraid all her training failed. No, we passed that. We are Bruce Leroy in one of my favorite movies, Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, where we all thought Bruce Leroy was dead. We all thought Sho'nuff's crew shot him. Oh no, we're at the moment where we have risen up out of the water. We got the bullet in our teeth and the glow has been activated. So you're not going to be able to buy us for cheap. So we're past the fear. We got the glow. We're not going back. All right. And thank you all so much for being here with me today on the Sunshine Report. If these are the kind of discussions you've been looking for, please make sure you tap the bell, subscribe, like the live, share it, and get excited because we're just getting started. It's another reason we're not afraid of the midterms. I'm excited about the midterms. There's still plenty of time for white men to fuck up. Thank you. There's still plenty of time. Black women are just getting started. And if you are looking for incredible Black-owned women's businesses to support, or if you're building one yourself, visit the sunshinedirectory.info. It's one of the ways we're turning these conversations into real economic action by investing in each other. And what I hope all of us take away from today's conversation, Black women are not asking these politicians, Talarico or Jon Ossoff, who are trying to engage with us. One of the reasons I love this graph, I'll never let it go. I'm not going to quit it. It shows how far ahead of the game Black women have been. We're asking politicians, y'all, Talarico, Ossoff, y'all need to meet us where we already are. Some of them are doing better than others. So we're just asking these politicians to meet us where we already are. All right. We need to be invited into serious conversations about the future of this country. And the leaders that understand that, the leaders that are willing to engage with us with honesty, intelligence, and vision, those are the leaders. They'll do more than earning our vote. They'll earn our trust. That's much more of a valuable thing. A Black woman that trusts you for real, for real. Ooh, this is a great response. We've never asked for a lot. Just do right by a state. I know. So listen, if you could sit down with your senator, governor, or member of Congress for 30 minutes, what's the one conversation you would want to have that no one ever seems to ask Black women about? Okay, I want to see some response to that. Please put it in the comments. I'm going to put this part of the video like up on all the platforms. And if you're a politician or you work for a politician's office or you want them to know what's going on, share this with them so they'll know. We're even trying to make it easy for you. Get better. Talarico, that was the beginning, but bruh, you got to do better because they ate you up. Because I know that the answers to that question are going to help shape the future of American politics.